The game in this review is a prototype. The design of the actual game could be different from what I show you. This also applies to the rules. Welcome to Nox Game Addict, and this time a Kickstarter video for the game The Dutch East Indies, published by Martin Loy. It is a game for 2 to 4 players, which will keep you occupied for 45 minutes to 1.5 hours. In this game you will play the role of a VOC captain, and you will go on a journey with your ships to collect as many valuable gems as you can. You will sail the sea, you will face the other rivalry captains and pirates, take your goods to the different islands, try to trade them as profitable as possible, and come back with ships full of gems and loaded with gold to your own port. The first one who will manage to bring in an X amount of gems and secure them on his home island will be the eventual winner. Like the intro mentioned, this is a prototype for a Kickstarter project, so the final version could be different in both design and rules. Let's take a look first at what we got. What's in the box? You got the rules, all in prototype, but with clear pictures, start directive, and for now they're still all in English. Each player gets an overview map with on it their ship, a short summary of the fight on the sea and the power of his cannons, the space in his cargo holds and the mast he has, which will obviously decide how fast he goes. You will get a number of markers to keep a record of where cargo of your ship is. Each player gets 2 ships, a big ship and a small ship. Beside that we have 2 pirate ships, also a big and a small pirate ship. We'll get an X amount of barrels we can transport, bars of gold and the desirable gems that we want to collect eventually. A set of 2 6-sided dice, a custom dice to state the direction of the wind. We'll get cards with on it the different exchange values. This is the demand of the cargo and what we'll get in return for that in gems and gold. A number of islands. Each player has his own start island. There is a market island, and on the remaining islands are where we can trade our cargo for gold and gems. These are beautiful, luxurious islands. The eventual game probably won't have these kind of islands, but they will either be made out of cardboard or this planet kind of wood. That is still a concept as well, but it will at least give you an idea of what you can expect. And the game board itself, for me it's still a game cloth. Eventually this will become a big board on which a few marks are applied for where you'll place the starting islands depending on the amount of players. This is what we will get. Time to set up a game. The game setup. And this is what the game looks like at the start. In my example, set up for 2 players. Each player gets his own island with the big and the small ship in one of the 2 port spots that border your ship. The other spots are not port spots. That's important to know. The starting player gets 14 barrels. Those are cargo, and 10 gold bars. And the other player gets 15 barrels and 10 gold bars. Then we have an amount of islands. Depending on the setup, you can adjust if you want more or less islands. One of those islands is always a market island on which we don't place trading cards, but only barrels and gold bars. There we can charge our ships and buy new cargo. On the remaining islands we spread our trading cards. You have 20 cards that you can divide among the islands as even as possible. If you can't spread them evenly, then you start with the islands that are the farthest distance from the players, and what's left can be put closer. Each island has a port, a spot where you can sail into to trade, and in this case that will be marked with an orange marker. Here is a port, there is a port, and that entire spot is a port. And then we still have the pirates, of course. They will also be placed on the playing field, If you're playing with 2 players, you're using a small part of the playing field and you won't be using the rest because it would just be too big. But if you do want that, it is possible. Each player gets an overview map on which it mentions the special ability of his country that he can use, and it has the statistics. The statistics are displayed. This is the mast line. With the Spanish, the big ship has 3 masts and the small ship has 2 masts. This way you see is also displayed for the cannons, and it's also like that for the cargo, the space they have for storage. When you've done that, we're ready to play a game. How will the game be played? The goal of the game is to acquire an amount of gems, and the first one to manage to do that will win the game eventually. The options are either 6 gems of one color or 2 gems of each color. There are 4 colors total: yellow, green, red and blue, and a 5th color, purple gems or joker gems. So they can be used for every other color and the player can decide that himself at the end. Every player has its turn after the other player in a clockwise way. One turn exists out of 2 phases. Phase 1 is always that the pirates will be moved. For this you will use the 6-sided wind dice, which shows you several wind directions: northeast, southwest, just east, west. First you will always move the big pirate ship. You roll the dice, look at the wind direction, northwest. There on the board is a wind vane depicted, so in this case he would go 1 step in that direction. They always move 1 spot. After that, you will roll for the small ship. He will go west. In this case, there's approximately 50% visible of the spot, so he can move there. If this wouldn't be possible, he would go in the opposite direction. Well, in this case it's a little difficult because he's in between 2 islands, so in that case you will roll again until you roll a wind direction in which he can actually move. What happens if a pirate comes close to a player ship? Then he will attack immediately, of course. As soon as a pirate ship will be moved and ends up in a sea spot bordering a player ship, he will attack the player ship immediately. And let's take a look at such an attack. In this case, these 6 spots are all spots where the pirate attacks. Yellow is situated in one of these spots, so shots will be fired. First, we'll take a look at the values of both ships. What cannons do they have? The small pirate always has a standard of 5 cannons, and my yellow ship, if I look at my map, only has 3 cannons. Then I'll roll for my own ship, and the player sitting left of me rolls for the pirate ship. 1 dice. Those values will be added to your cannons. 5 plus 2 makes 7. 5 plus 3 makes 8. 8 is the highest number. Luckily, I come out unharmed. I rolled higher than the pirate in attacks, so I win. If I would have rolled a draw, 7 to 7, then the attacker wins, in this case the pirate. And if I would have rolled lower, the pirate would have won. What happens if the pirate wins? Depending on which pirate attacks you, in my example the small pirate, I will have to downgrade one of my properties, and I have to throw a gem in the sea. If I don't have gems on my ship, I have to throw a gold bar in the sea. If I don't have gold bars, that option doesn't apply. The downgrading is actually really easy. The statistics of your small ship are by the little cube. The big cube is for your big ship. You can see how much cargo you have, how many cannons, how many sails, and one of these properties have to be downgraded. For example, I can say I'll have 1 less sail, then you move your cube 1 lower. If the pirate attacks me and I do have a gem or gold on board, then I have to throw it overboard, so it will be placed in the hexagon spot where I'm at. And that may be picked up by every player except for myself on the next turn. I would be allowed to pick it up in 2 turns. What else is important? This turn the pirate came up to me and attacked me. R1. Now I'm basically immune to this pirate until it's my turn again, and then I can sail away. So if the pirate moves here next turn, then I'll end up in those 6 spots. He'll attack again, but he attacked me already and I haven't been able to move yet, since it's not my next turn yet, so he'll ignore me. When it is my turn, I can sail away, and if he moves toward me, he will attack me again. After this first phase has ended, the pirate phase will go to the action phase of the player. The player can move both of his ships in the action phase, and he can decide for himself in which order he'll do that. A ship can move an X amount of spots, equal to his amount of masts. My little ship has 2 masts, so he can sail 2 spots, and my big ship has 3 masts, so he can sail 3 spots. For the sailing, there are a few rules. We're big ships, we can't just make U-turns. When I sail, the front is always facing the next hexagon spot, and that means I'm allowed to sail to this spot or to one of these 2 bordering spots. So I can go here, I can go here, or I can go here. When I'm here, I have the choice between these 3 spots that are in front of my bow. I can't sail to the other 3 spots. It is possible, but then I have to turn, turn, turn. So when I move, I could say 1, 2, 3, for example. But I can also use a move to make that turn. So 1, then I could say I'll turn him like this. That's my second move. And with 3, I'll move in that direction. You have 3 move points. You can decide for yourself how you spend those, and you don't have to spend all of them either. You can also say, I'll stay where I am during a turn. The only rule that's important for that, in a port you can only stay for 2 turns maximum. If I'm at my home port, I can load my ships for free. For example, my big ship has a capacity of 6. I'm looking at my cargo value on my overview map, so I can load 6 cargo. So I can say, for example, I will put 6 barrels on it because I want to trade. And after that I will sail 1, 2, 3 spots. Now you're in a port. With my little ship, I'd maybe want to say he's 2, so a little slow. I would like to upgrade him a little. Upgrades cost money, and for that I'll have to go to the market island. So I put, let's see, 5 of them, 5 gold bars in there. And then we'll go on the exciting journey to market island. 2 spots. When you're busy with one ship, you're allowed to take multiple actions. You can take action before you sail. For example, loading properties from your start island. After that you can sail, and after that you can take action again. For example, trading with the locals. Again, that's only possible if you end up in a port. If you want to trade with the locals, there are a few cards. When there are no cards left, there's nothing left to trade, of course. We'll look at that soon. To trade, I will pick up the top card, I'll look at that secretly, and on it I see what the locals ask, 3 cargo, and what they'll give in return, 2 blue gems and 3 gold bars. Then I have 2 options. A. I'll take up on this offer, then I'll hand over the cargo and take what the locals offer in return. If those gems aren't on the island, you'll just take them from the general stock. But it's fun to put some gems and gold bars everywhere, for the ambience of the game. I can do this as many times as I want. Here you can see they ask for 3, and I'll get 3 gold bars and 2 gems in return. I have 6 barrels with me, so I could use this one 2 times. Then I'll put the card facing up and trade as much as I want and can. Or I can say the trade ratio is hopeless, or they'll give me cargo I don't want. Then you look at the card and put it back facing down. And then you move on. But I'm going to trade, so I open the card so everyone can see what's being offered, and I'll take what's on it. I'm only doing it once, then I'm putting this card away on the pile of used cards. But now I have 8 cargo on my ship, and my ship can only have 6 cargo at the same time, so I have too much on board. And I have to throw something overboard. In this case I'm throwing 2 barrels in the sea. They will stay in this spot. The next turn I can't pick them up right away, but the turn after that, if I come back here, I could pick them back up. And that's actually how simple the trading works. If there are no cards left on an island at that moment, there's nothing left to trade. Only when none of the islands have cards left, if all trading cards are gone, then all of them will be shaken and divided among the islands again, like I explained at the beginning. If during a turn I'll end up in a spot of a pirate, then the pirate will attack me automatically, just like in phase 1 when the pirates move. Where am I safe from the pirates? In ports, in my own home port, but also the ports at sea. So, if I can tactically maneuver my ship past such a pirate, then I can sail into it after all, before the pirates will attack me. Because here in the port I'm safe. Trading on Market Island, very simple. You're allowed to do several things there. You can upgrade your ship there. You will see that between each step there's a price depicted, and that's the price you have to pay to reach the next level. You can upgrade as much as you want, as long as you have enough gold on your ship, because you'll have to have the gold physically with you to be able to buy those upgrades. Aside from that, you can trade 1 gold bar for 2 barrels, 2 cargo, or the other way around, 2 cargo to obtain 1 gold bar. Or you can trade 2 gold bars plus a gem, so you can get a gem of your choice from the stock or an island of choice. However, this can be a purple joker gem, but only one of the 4 standard colors, so that's what we can do here on the Market Island. When you're done with both ships, then it's the next player's turn and he'll do the same. You start with the dice to move the pirate ships, and after that he'll take action with his own ships. Beside the pirates that could attack you, you could also attack each other. What's funny, before I say that, the ships are big enough to transport all cargo, so you can physically see what a ship is carrying. That's a very cool aspect. Also, because the ships are so big, there can only fit 1 ship in a hexagon, and that's also the rule. If there's a ship in a spot, there can't be another ship in it or going through, so you're effectively blocking someone. The attacking of a player works exactly the same as the pirate one. You look at the amount of cannons. My big ship has 6. How many cannons does this small ship have? 3. Both players roll dice. The player that attacks wins at a draw, and the one with the highest amount is the winner. In this case, the big ship. Then the defender has to give the attacker a gold bar and a gem, if he has one. And if he doesn't have one, he'll have to downgrade one of his properties, because it's damage. If the defender wins the one who's being attacked, then the attacker will have to give him a gem. And also in this case, if the attacker doesn't have a gem, he'll have to downgrade one of his properties. Besides that, all players have, depending on the country, a special ability. That will usually cost 2 gold bars to use. If it's your turn, or when that ability is applicable, you can use it. The cost for that you'll pay with gold that's either on your start island or on your ships, or combined from those two. For example, one from your ship and one from your island. Besides that, you can transfer your load. When you've sailed with a ship and you'll end up next to another ship that's yours, then you're allowed to transfer load. Of course, you can keep in mind what the maximum allowed load is for a ship. After that, the ship which turn it was, the one with which we started the transfer, can't sail further anymore, even if the ship was empty and you hauled in cargo. The other ship is still allowed to sail when he hasn't used its turn yet. The same principle goes when my ship is situated in the port and my other ship comes next to it. Then I can walk over my own ship to do the activities of, in this case, Market Island or a different island. So then my man could literally pick up the loot and via my own ship go ashore. And that's how the game will be played. The first one that will have an amount of gems, in other words 6 of the same color or 2 of each color, is the winner of the Dutch East Indies. Verdict. What I like about this game is the fact that you're physically trading with the ships. You arrive at your home port, you load a few barrels, then you start sailing, and after that you try to trade those barrels profitable, and the desirable gems will end up on your ship, and maybe gold bars. Then you sail back to your home port like a madman to secure them, because your gems are only safe when they're on your home island. Until that time you're a target to the other players and maybe even to the pirates. But it is just fun to see how these ships get loaded with different cargo, and that also decides for people that like to play a little aggressive that they can say, that one has something valuable, that one I'll try to intercept. Furthermore, it's cool that you can trade with your ship. Sometimes you have good deals, sometimes you have extremely bad deals, and in the meantime you could always stuff your ship with gold and go to Market Island to upgrade your ship. Besides, in a port you're safe from pirates, but also from other players. If you're in a port, you just can't be attacked, but you can't attack either. For the rest, the rules are nice and simple. We roll for the pirates and we'll move both ships if we want to, and possibly load, unload and trade cargo and upgrade. And then it's the turn of the next player, and that's how you continue until someone has reached their final goal. Your ship can never get damaged beyond the lowest scores, so if your masts are at 1, your cannons are at 1, and your cargo at 3, you can't go lower than that. After that, you'll have to try to rebuild piece by piece again. For the rest, there are several tactics possible. You can say, I'll fully focus on trading and try to collect those gems as fast as possible. Or you can say, trading is nice, but I'll go with gold bars to that island, upgrade my ship, and then I'll try to steal the gems of all other players by having a lot of cannons. This way you can also make combinations. The pirates can ruin the plans by sailing randomly all over the board, and before you know it, end up in your waters where they can shoot you to pieces. But if you're well equipped, you could easily defeat them. Overall, this game has fun aspects that are pretty easy to comprehend, so it's smooth and simple to play. Of course, this is the demo version. The islands here are super luxurious. The actual game won't have that. That would just be too expensive. Besides that, the game will get a board and there will probably be other elements that will change. What definitely won't change is the fact that you will get ships in which you can place all cargo and with which you will sail the board so you can load and trade for other cargo. The physical transport of cargo is something that will absolutely stay. The different possibilities, the different tactics give the players a lot of freedom, and also because the layout of the board can be set up differently. The way I set it up is a recommended layout, but you can also say, I think those are too many islands, I will use some less, and I will use more of the board with 2 players, so I will have to sail more. You can play with that yourself. I'm not gonna rate the game because it's a demo version and things will be changed, and I'm not gonna rate incomplete games. What I do want to say is that the game has several fun elements. I think the physical transportation is a cool element, and I think it's fun. You can play a little with trading versus bothering other players. Furthermore, I'm curious about the final result, and who knows, maybe the actual game could come by again to the game attic. Thank you and goodbye.